welcome back to another episode of Two Girls, One Shelf. Woo! I'm Tabby.
I'm Paula.
And today we have an exciting treat for y'all and for me. And we are doing an author interview with the one and only Dany Crooks, who wrote
Revenge of the Forgotten!
Yes,
Hello.
one of my top 5 read of the year. 5 stars. All I think about.
0 days since we thought about it. Or since we...
Wait.
We think about this book never.
0 days since we haven't thought about this book.
Read it and threw it away.
Lit it on fire.
It's in the cat box.
Well, good thing we can edit words.
Well, we don't want to know what Paula rated it.
Look at my Goodreads.
5 stars.
Yeah, 5 stars, but it's by the cat box. That's all that matters. You had my mom. She read the first draft of Revenge, and I didn't write an ending. I added to my first draft. I added 60,000 words in the second draft and cut half of them back out.
Wow.
Anyway, so mom read a completely different story because she was like, I want to read it from the beginning. And she then was mad at me because Vega had a cat at the very beginning.
Oh.
And it just didn't work out. It just didn't make sense. She still does not like that I cut her. The cat's name was Sushi. She is still mad at me for Sushi. Yeah.
Rest in peace, Sushi.
Yeah. R.I.P. Sushi. Gone. So when she reread Revenge, the final draft of it, and I sent her your guys' podcast, and she was like, "Oh my, I love these girls. Where are they from?" I don't know, Mom. So she texted me earlier and was like, "Can I watch it live?" And I was like, "No, you gotta wait like everybody else."
Oh, we could have her on here.
Oh my gosh. Just love the sushi.
I know.
It's
I love
excellent.
that. I love that so much.
Poor cat. She'd have been left alone in that life too.
Listen, she just wasn't going to work. I got to a point where Vega gets back to Toliver, and I'm like, oh crap, what happened to the cat? And and I tried to write the cat back in. I was like, I could just imagine her running through the redwoods with this cat in her arms, and it just...
Look,
so
don't
sorry.
worry about Sushi anymore.
She is living a great life with somebody else in Chicago, I guess. That's in its own
Stuck with
fiction.
Oh man, that's real unfortunate to be stuck with him.
Chase the mistress and the gas station guy.
Oh. Gregor is based off of a real person.
Is he?
He is. I had an awful boss. Awful. Prior to the job that I have now, because I work full-time, 35 hours a week. And that's still pretty full-time, as well as
for sure.
But I was a bar manager at a really nice restaurant. My manager, we will not name him, was Gregor. He was awful, and he was a Romanian man. So I was like, how can I incorporate this trauma into Vega's life?
But honestly, I was telling Tabby this earlier, so I felt like Gregor was important. I don't know why, but I feel like he's important.
He may tie into the spin-off series.
Okay, so he's important.
Fun fact, the night before I sent ARCs out, I changed the ending of Revenge.
Shut up. Really?
I was in the shower. I have shower ideas all the time. All of my plots, all of my things come from showers. So
Or dreams.
Both. To get if I'm sitting at my computer and I can't write, I can't figure out what's going on, I'll be like, you know what? I'm just going to go take a shower. And I'll go into the shower. And I actually just recently found out that a lot of authors are like this. So I was like, oh, it's not just me. I was like, wow, okay. So you go in the shower and you just think through your plot, and it's I don't know, it's something about the shower. So anyway,
I don't know.
I'm in the shower, and my She proofreads and like beta and kind of alphas for me. Her name's Bobby McLaren. She's also an author. Yeah, she writes contemporary. She's actually working on a fantasy. So I'm like, join me on the dark side. Over. But I messaged her and was like, you need to talk me off of a ledge or you need to tell me to jump because I'm about to do something crazy. And I told her what it was and she was like, oh my God, that's genius. So all I did was there's 2 chapters. The prologue was the second to last chapter in Revenge. So you got to see that in Revenge.
What?
And there's one more chapter that goes into book 2 that I am not going to talk about. All I did was just make the cliffhanger feel like a nosedive. Instead of wrapping like something up and being like, to be continued, I was just like, here you go.
Well, you know how you talk about you're like mean to your characters and stuff like that? You're mean to your readers as well. Because you put us through so much with your stories. I was like, is that it? Is that where it stopped?
I had someone message me and go, I think I didn't get the full version. I was like, no, that's it. That's where it ends. I'm like, why can she hear his voice? Don't know. Can't tell ya.
I'm still over here just like, if she wakes up on Earth, I swear to God.
With Chase.
Yeah. I will.
Cheers to that.
Look.
Don't talk to me about it, because I may cry. I was so invested in Revenge. It was bad. I was like, Paula, where are you at?
Yeah.
Paula, where are you at?
Yeah, because I'm in school.
Okay.
So she was like reading a lot faster than I was.
Yeah.
So she finished it and I think I still have 2.5 hours left and she's like, are you done yet? And I was like, no, I have 2.5 hours left. She's like, you call me. And then I called Tabby. I was like, Tabby, what happened
in the world?
What do you mean? Like, what do you mean?
And I was like, I don't know. I don't know.
I'm not much nicer for the cliffhanger in book 2. So like, R.I.P. everybody.
Jesus Christ.
And sushi.
I genuinely, okay, so I'm not very far into writing book 2. So with Revenge, I took my time. I didn't want to rush through a debut. I wanted to spend time with these characters and feel like I knew who they were and things like that, and I'm trying to stick to a better deadline schedule for the rest of the series.
Yeah.
But the cliffhanger in book 2 is... That one's gonna hurt. That one's gonna hurt me, I think. I might cry.
Oh, bless it.
Well,
Bless it.
I'll wrap it all up.
I'm gonna go sit by the litter box. I'll be right back. Be right back.
BRB.
I can't do this. I changed my mind.
You're already getting kind of blotchy.
Is it the margarita or is it feelings?
Both. Both of them. I don't know. Like, I think it's funny. I actually, like, I don't know. I love cliffhangers because I think about that book for the rest of my life. So I knew that I was going to be a cliffhanger writer. And everyone's like, wow, this cliffhanger. I was like, I honestly would love to say that I'm sorry, but like, LOL.
I'm
I'm
not.
not.
No apologies here. After we read it, we actually made our book club read it too. We're like, all right,
Everybody else,
like, everybody else got to read it too. Everyone's got to be emotionally beaten down as well.
Well, sorry to your book club. Not really.
One of my friends, she was just like, I tried to listen to it while I was cleaning and doing things, but there was just so much I had to do and deal with in that book that I had to stop what I was doing to actually pay attention to everything, because everything's so important. And I was like, it is so important and so wonderful.
There's so many, and I don't think I realized how many Easter eggs I had put into it until I like went back and realized, and I was like, wow, good job me. Like, so many playbacks. Good job.
Gold star.
And they're like, yes.
I'm like, I don't care if I get a 1-star review. I did it. I'm proud of me.
So you got 5 stars for me.
I know, yeah, for sure.
Kisses.
Maybe 4 now for your mom in solidarity of sushi. But...
Mom is probably one of the 1-star ratings, but these are like original versions. R.I.P. sushi.
People are just gonna be very confused reading your mom's review. They'd be like, I think she like is reviewing the wrong book. Like,
I'm hungry.
Yeah. Like, someone get her a Grubhub.
Yeah. My first draft that went off to developmental edits was like 163,000 words. She was thick.
Okay, Sarah J. Maas.
Thick. I mean, she's still 130, so there is one scene that my editor was like, I don't think that this is necessary. And I was like, you can pry this scene from my cold dead hand.
My foot is down.
I will delete every other scene that you recommend. I agree. This one's not going.
What was the scene?
It was the "Who did this to you" scene.
Oh, no. We got to keep that in there.
It's staying.
Yeah, we need to keep that in there.
Bridger's rage.
I thought it was going to be about Court's pants.
Wait, okay, so I added in that she, like, you know, oh, he was only still topless or whatever, I don't even know. And my editor, literally one of her comments was like, is he naked right now? I had to edit in that he was still in his shifting pants. Because the rest of that scene was just Court being naked, apparently. Like, he was walking the halls of Castra completely bare butt.
Well, I was disappointed his pants shifted.
I know. I'm sure Vega was too. That girl, she
honestly, at that point,
Vega, I would have been like, "Bye, Bridger. I can have Dragon Daddy now and later." Okay,
we'll figure you out in book 2.
Yeah, like, he is the last dragon, so I need to try once at least.
Yes. This is another realm. I can have 2 husbands. It's fine.
You learn a lot about what was supposed to be through Marlena's eyes in the novella, and like,
not ready.
Some of that. So I do get to like kind of explore a little bit of every character in the novella, which is fun, but through Marlena's eyes, which is very interesting.
I'm sure it's very different to see how, like, because I mean, they're mainly like Vega's friends.
Yeah.
So they don't have a lot to do with her. So it would be interesting to see like how she sees the relationships and things throughout the years.
There is one scene where, because they all grow up together, right? And while they still might be closer in age, actually Court is the oldest, but they all grow up together, Marlena and all of them, but Marlena has a different life and is expected to be a different person. And there's a scene, and this is a spoiler, have fun with it, whatever. There's a scene where Marlena is starting to retract a little bit, and Court is like, just give me a hug, you weirdo. Stop being so weird. So everybody, when Marlena does this to people, you really kind of harp on how it feels with Vega, right? You don't realize how it affects the rest of the bonded and how they loved her too, and so they lose her. So it's a group thing, whereas obviously it's your sister who just did this to you, so obviously Vega is probably the most traumatized, but
yeah,
they all lose Marlena, and that's sad.
Yeah, which I mean, you can kind of get that with the scene that I think it's Arlette and Vega that are trying to go to the festival, and Marlena can't go because her parents are like, no, you can't go, and all this other stuff. But you can also tell that Arlette is kind of upset too that she's not able to go.
Yeah, they're like best friends and they all grow up together and they're young and you get like some of their schooling and that kind of thing. So you learn who they were before all of this happens. And even with Revenge, I thought it was really important for me to tell what the past was like so that you understand how crazy this future is for them.
Yeah.
Like, or the present, rather.
I'm just so ready. So ready. I think about this book every day.
I really do too. Like, it is like in my brain.
Me too,
it's just seared.
Yeah. We don't stalk you on Instagram.
Okay, stalk away. I stalk you guys too. I'm like, what are they reading right now?
You know how like the brain has like the frontal lobe and like the temporal lobe and all that. I have like a Revenge of the Forgotten. Just like, there's just like a lobe of it.
I'm glad I'm not the only one.
It was so funny. I was gonna try. I looked all over for a dumb
Oh.
black binder or like a little black journal, and I was gonna cricket out your emotionless like cover and be like, "Ha, I have your secrets." But I was like, God, I couldn't find the stupid black notebook
That's so funny.
anywhere.
I actually think it's around here somewhere. Where is it? Oh, it's right. Oh, no, that's not. I have so many notebooks. I tried.
It's okay. I took it. It's fine.
Here, hold on. I gotta close it because
No, you don't. Don't worry. I won't zoom in on it.
this one. There are some secrets in here.
Okay, well, flip it to the page that has the biggest one, and I won't look.
Oh yeah, you won't.
No. Oh man, we could talk to you forever.
No, we made this like basket of like to make it fun of questions.
I love this. The suspense.
Come on, Vanna White.
I'm sorry. Okay. Oh, I wrote this question. Okay, let's see if I can read my handwriting. We took. What elements of your own life experience were infused into the book? So we know about Gregor.
Yeah.
We know he's Gregor. We know about him.
I think there's a little bit, and I it's so cliche, but I like feel like everybody's got a little piece of me in them. When I first started, I was like, Marlena is the only one that doesn't have anything with me. And then I wrote her and I was like, oh crap. We got some stuff to unpack here. I think revenge was really healing for me. I do have some sibling trauma. So for me, it was a healthy way for me to dump things into a book that like obviously makes it a lot worse. My sister didn't curse me to live in a different realm. Well, I mean, what the hell? Why didn't you?
Hold on. I'm not mad.
Actually. But I think Vega, at the beginning, she's very lost. And I remember most of my life feeling like I didn't fit in certain places. And then I get to explore that with Marlena on a different standpoint. But there's little Easter eggs of me in there. I don't think it's a lot. I'm very lucky to have had like a decent life, but I have separated parents. And so there's some little sprinkles of me trying to figure out how to heal. And yeah, lots of sibling trauma. So
yeah.
Just Marlena's a little bit worse than they could ever be.
It's okay. My brothers are 10 and 15 years older than me.
Yep.
And the one that's like technically the middle child. So he was in high school when I was in elementary school.
My
And
sister's 15 years older, so
Okay. So he had to like he didn't have a car at this point, and he had to go to my elementary school to pick me up and to walk me back home. But it was like when rollerblading was like super cool, and him and his friends like jumped over trash cans and all other stuff. Well, he would rollerblade a mile ahead of me, and I'm like 5 years old, like wanting to hold his hand as I'm crossing the street. So I'm like running, crying after him. I'm like, ah! Like, he's just, yes.
My brother did a lot of like.
Yes.
So my sister's 14 years older than me. My brother's 7 years older than me. My brother used to do like premeditated scaring. So it wasn't like in the moment. He would tell me, oh my gosh, did you hear about that child kidnapper who got out of jail? And I'm like, a child kidnap? What? So all day I'm thinking about this child kidnapper. And then my mom's like, Danielle, will you take the trash out? And I'm like, yeah, I'll take the trash out. So I take the trash out and he turns off all the lights and locks the door. And what is the first thing I think of? Child kidnapper. His friends chased me with a snake one time. Like, yeah. So my mom is going to love this part. They used to tell me, my siblings used to say that they were going to throw me out the window. So they would be like, yeah, we threw you out the window last night. And I'm like 6. So I'm like, Mom, they threw me out the window. And I sobbed uncontrollably. So, I had a lot of emotions.
My mom used to hate when I would walk outside when the concrete was like too cold or too hot.
Yeah.
So to solve this, instead of just saying, hey, Paula, like, let's not do that. Like, you'll get a little sick. She told me that my coochie would get sick and fall off. And so, like, in my childhood brain, for some reason, I pictured it like sliced bread. So I just, like, saw it, like, literally just falling off. Like, it was, like, the butt of the bread just falling off.
Like, I'm not walking barefoot, Mom. Don't worry.
Yeah, it's like, this is it. This is
I
it
need
for me.
that thing.
But she said this to us in high school too. I remember when I became your friend and she said it to me for the first time. I was like,
Wait, so
what
I
do
have
you
a question for
mean?
you guys. How long have you known each other then? Because I get the vibe that you guys obviously are like besties, but like,
Yeah.
how deep? How deep?
I think 15, right?
No,
17 years?
Yeah.
Yeah, because we
Or
met when
like-
we were like 15.
Yeah, or like, yeah, 14, 13.
14, 13.
Well, it's like 14 because I started ninth grade, like what, 13 years old?
Yeah, but we weren't really friends then.
Oh, yeah.
You were Tabitha to me.
Okay, I went through
Tabitha.
this goth. I know, the audacity. I went through this really hard goth phase. I mean, parachute pants, I could hide a person in there. Like, it was
Person.
I mean, you could have fit.
I was very emo, so I teased my hair. I had the two-tone
Yes.
hair, the like half and half makeup, like
Yes, it was bad. So I mean, it was glorious, but I had to delete all the pictures so I didn't get hazed by my high school kids. But it was.
There's a picture of me in like my 8th grade year, and I was like, you know that whole thing with like Vampire Diaries where, what's her face, the blonde, help.
What's her name? I don't remember her name.
Caroline.
Yeah, Caroline.
Yeah, I have watched it and I'm a big fan, but you know, wine. Caroline's like, burn it. Did I say sit there and stare? Burn it. Like that was, I was like, literally, you need to burn that right now, Mom.
Yeah.
And she took it off the wall. So like, thanks, Mom, because that picture, that was, if that ever goes viral, if I ever get big enough for them to find that picture, I'm done. Never write it down.
I just remember it was one of my like second or third years working with high school kids, and one of them was just like, Tabby, is this you? And I was like, no. And then they sent it around the entire bus.
Kids are so mean.
And I was just like, all right, you forget that I'm your coach and can make this hard for you.
10 laps.
Oh my god.
First of all, y'all are gonna be listening to My Chemical Romance on repeat for your warm-ups until I get tired, okay?
A young boy.
Yes, exactly. Just don't even give them an option.
Yeah, no, I love that. I was super emo. Some of those pictures, they're not ever gonna see the light of day. I wish I could be like, there's a phase from like, you know, like 5 to like 10. You can see those pictures. It's fine. You get like 11 to 15. No, you're not.
Yeah, it was.
I feel like I was like the colorful emo. Like I like the emo music, but the way that I dressed, you would never know.
She literally dressed like a rainbow on the regular. She would have these striped rainbow socks. Everything she was wearing was super colorful. But then she would sit behind me in class before her friends. She'd be like, Tabitha, can I have a pencil? And I'm just like, God, why do you guys say it's so formal? Just here's a pencil.
Who is Tabitha?
Yeah, like
everybody
talk to anybody
as Dany, but like I used to go as Danielle, which feels so weird. But my husband one day was like, "Hey, Dany," and I was like, it felt like I had like touched some gross something in the sink, and I was like, don't ever call me that. I was like, that was so weird. I was like, it is Babe or Danielle to you, and that is it. But if I'm out in public and someone's like Danielle, I'm like, who is using my government name?
Yeah. Well, you see, I had to go by Tabby too because biblical names and growing up in a church family, everybody's just like, "Hey, Dorcas," because you know that was like Tabitha. It was horrible. So Tabby, it is. Yep. Church camp was so fun. Starts there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I get it. Yeah. My childhood best friend, her name's Katie, and hi, Katie. We were the same way. Like we were in chorus in 6th grade, and she was Glinda, and I played Elphaba. And then our whole life, she used to tell people when we would like meet, because we've been best friends since we were like in 6th grade. She goes, yeah, when I was still carrying a lunchbox, Dany was doing drugs. And I was like, you can't go around with that. I was just a pothead. Please. I was like, and I didn't even start till like 9th grade. You're telling people the wrong story. But we were like polar opposites. Like literally, if she was Glinda, I was Elphaba. And it was me in my emo garb. And she would come in with like the little monkey shirt.
the one that was like small and like
She would
stretched.
come in with her like little graphic tees that were like, "I'm sassy," like
with the gaucho pants or whatever they were.
yeah, like that was her, and I was walking in an all black cloak, like Lil Wednesday Addams. Like,
I love that so much.
it's opposite attracts, yeah.
I feel like we're not so much different so now, though.
Yeah, you brought me a little bit out of the dark side.
Also,
I have like
life
colors
will just
now.
pull you out, man. Like there, it beats you up.
That is true. That is true.
I guess when you realize what adulthood is like, you're like, okay, this is the real dark side compared to high school.
I have to pay bills. I'll go back. Jeez. Hindsight's 2020 though.
Yes, for
Yeah.
sure.
Oh, let me shake this for you.
Oh, we got another question.
Yeah, we have a lot
Let's
in
see.
here, but we're gonna
Okay,
talk to you forever.
Well, it's fine. Let's go.
Okay, let's see. What is your favorite clapback or insult from this book?
Did you practice it in the mirror?
Okay, I'm gonna be so honest. I edited so much out of this book that sometimes I have to go back and check if it was like when I'm doing marketing stuff, I'm like, was this in book 1? Like, is this in book, or was this in draft 3? I would say I think though some of my favorite banter is when I think that when like Vega tells Bridger like, you're going to hell, and he's like, we're already in hell.
Yeah.
I remember being like, yes, okay, all right. I think their banter once she gets her memories back is like chef's kiss to me, because there's so much unsaid. They've had so many lives and so much time to say these things, and the version of Vega that she is in Revenge is not willing to like hide that, right? She is very much like, I'm just gonna tell you what I think, where you're at. So that's actually really important for book 2, because they're finally for the first time starting to talk about these feelings that maybe Vega couldn't talk about in other lives because she was so different. And you get to kind of explore some of those lives, or she tells you about those lives in book 2. So many of them, right? So she comes clean, and there's some dark stuff in book 2. There's going to be some trigger warnings, but she finally gets to tell her story, because everybody wants her to be the Vega that she was in her original life, and unfortunately she's a different person, and she's lived so many different lives. So their banter always got me. I always thought so. That I think that one where she's like, I'm gonna send you to hell, and he's like, newsflash, baby, we're already there. Like,
sorry, kitten.
and his oh man, that man, I can't wait for book 2. I can't wait, because so many people are like, I don't know about Bridger, and I'm like, oh, I love him so much.
I just think that he's been through so much of watching his true love go through all these lives and having to kill her and all these other things, you know, that I mean, he was also tortured for years as well, too. So he's also got his own trauma that he needs to deal with as well.
He was just lucky enough to have a power that he was able to forget for a little while, you know? Like, Vega forgets in a very different way and then gets slammed with all these memories all at once. But now Bridger is kind of experiencing that as well, where he's getting that back. And that's a lot for him, because he was able to just be like, Vega, blinders on, right? Vega isn't the person that I fell in love with, and that's all that it is. And now he's seeing this new version of her where there's pieces of her from that original life, and he's like, oh crap, I was living so peaceful. I was just in this like, little area of my brain where nothing hurt, and now things hurt. Like, so Bridger, yeah, I love him, and I understand. I did intentionally write him in book 1 for people to be like, I don't know about him. I did want it to be very slow burn. I did want it to be very enemies to lovers. And then book 2, things happen and people change. And
Stop. I gotta go away. Who changes?
I mean,
it better be Court to his regular form.
No pants for Court.
The shifting pants lose their magic.
You know, that would probably make everybody feel better in book 2.
I mean, if you're gonna give us trauma, at least have him naked. You know?
I'll keep
With art. We need art. We need character art. We need character art.
My character artist now, who just did. Hold on. I'm gonna
The
just
ones we got in our mail.
Yeah.
no these ones.
Oh, the new
I
ones?
saw you got the new
Yes, yes. Oh.
She's gonna do stuff for me in the future because I'm obsessed with her. And she's gonna start around the first of the year. She's doing a Marlena one for me. I might be able to surprise you guys in the mail with these ones.
Stop, I'll cry.
I know, they're gonna be like Pokemon cards. I want to collect them all.
That's small.
I already put them in a book so nothing damages them ever. Like a
I think that one, she was like, what scene would you like me to do? And I was like, I don't think I want a scene for them. I already have the scene from the original art. I just kind of want like personality. And she did so freaking good. She just captured the cockiness of Bridger and Vega just being wanting to be like, like she just wants to beat him up and the scar. And I was like, oh
Yeah.
gosh, like
I love it.
I know, she did great.
I want everybody to see it. I post it all the time. I'm like, you don't want to see? You don't? Oh, too bad.
You're gonna see it anyways. Don't worry, I look.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, if you were forced to throw down with one of your characters, who would you pick to give yourself the best chance of winning?
None of them. Oh my god. Oh my god. None of them.
Sushi.
Yes. Oh man. Okay, but to real. Oh my god. Who would I?
If you were just swept
Chase.
into total bear,
I'm gonna.
beat him up.
He's losing. No, it's Chase. I would win. I would win in a fight against Chase. I did a character like when I was releasing before the reveal of Revenge. I don't even know if you guys had followed me yet. I did a little bit of a like, here's each character or whatever. And he's like, I was like doing all their heights and stuff. And I said 5'10", but says he's 6 foot.
That's perfect.
And that's so Chase. That's his
Yep,
energy. Just like he tells everyone, "No, I'm 6 foot," and there's really someone who's 6 foot, and they're like, "No, buddy, you're not."
I'm 6 foot guy. He wears the men lifters, that puts in the shoes. Oh my God, what are they called? They're not men lifters.
I don't know. I know what you're talking about, but I don't know the name.
Yeah, like the little insult.
Yeah, that you put in the
okay,
men hillies.
I don't even know.
I like men lifters better.
It's men lifter shoes. Hindsight, Vega and Chase are just not a match at all. I'd have to be really careful on this topic though, because some stuff comes back. Tabby's like,
Jesus Christ!
No. Chase's character makes sense.
I swear to God that if he's Ramus, I'm gonna be pissed. Or if he's at the 7 Wonders of the World with Vega that Bridger's been seeing, I'm gonna be pissed off too.
The book is gonna fly across the room.
You're gonna send me a video like burning it.
It's gonna be in the litter box.
I'll be like,
hey, with you.
I'll be like, please send me another copy.
I'm sorry. Upset and burned it in the garbage.
I'll buy another one. I'm sorry.
Just make sure you take videos so we can use it for content. That's all I ask.
True.
Oh my gosh, no.
Oh dear God.
Chase does play a part again. That's all I'm
I
gonna
don't know how I feel about that.
How do I go on? I just don't know. My face hurts.
There's so much. Book 1 was really setting the scene. And I'm so glad that people, of course, I haven't made it. And I didn't expect to release my first book and go crazy. The chances of that happening are slim to none, but I still had such a great release, and I still have people who are reading Revenge now, and I get such great feedback on it, and I'm really happy with my debut. And ask me in 10 books how I feel about it. But right now, it really sets a good foundation for what's coming in the rest of the story. And I'm so excited for book 2. Not that I wasn't excited for my debut, but I think book 2 is going to feel like a passion project. There's so much that's going to happen.
Yeah, I'm not ready.
I'm ready.
I'll slow down, don't worry.
Well, even for like a debut book, like I've read close to 60 books this year. Not a whole lot to some people, but a lot for me. And I'm like, Revenge of the Forgotten is top 5, like top 5, if not number 1. Like I'd have to like look through my list, but it's definitely top 5 for sure.
It's my number 1.
Always and forever.
For the rest of my life. I feel so silly being like, I connect with these characters and I love them so much, but I just love them. Everybody, all of them.
I love them too.
We kind of answered this. I asked this. Was Remus the liquor store owner?
Yeah,
That's Gregor.
Gregor. Remus,
Right.
I can tell you, Remus is dead. He's gone.
I know, but I just didn't know if he gets like reincarnated, like in somebody, or like his spirit, because like during the prologue, I think of Revenge, Bridger gets this
The
whisper,
whisper.
in his mind of just like, I saved her.
Yeah.
So I'm like, is he coming?
He
So
becomes there's pieces of him in all of them. Like he becomes part of the bonded. So he is still there, but he's not
physically there.
exactly, like the idea of the gods is that they gave themselves up to, because like they die, right? Like Remus curses everybody, they all die, but their spirits are still somewhere. So that's where summoning of the gods comes into play. You learn about that in Marlena's novella a little bit more. And the reason that I put Marlena's novella where it's at is because you get so much backstory. There's so many questions at the end of Revenge, like, well, who are the XYZ? You learn a lot about the backstory. And I think that it's really important to get it now versus like later. So technically it's a prequel. It's what happens before everything goes down in Revenge. But it's also written in age points. So it's not like a continuation of her story. It's like this at age 9 happened to her, and this then at age 10, whatever it is. So it's all age points. And then it does, once we get closer to the end of her novella, it kind of like flows together a little bit more. But my idea for the novella was very what changed her, what scene or what moments in her life made her to the person that she is today. So it's very like you're 9, you're 11, you're 15, you're whatever, and then once you get to that like 18 to 19-year-old Marlena, it like really flows.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I can't.
I'm ready.
I'm ready too.
I'm ready. All right, let's see. Your characters are so vivid and relatable. Even the villains have layers, like
Donkey.
donkey.
Ogres have onions have layers.
Yeah.
How did you go about creating such multi-dimensional characters? Are they based on people of your life? So, and we know about Gregor. Is there anybody else?
I think Arlette ends up being all of the females in my life, like every best friend that I've ever claimed, right? Like you have so many in your stages of life. I think that she is a mesh of all of my closest friends. Like she's got Katie, who I talked about earlier, but she also like later in life, with Gregor, who I worked for, you know, like I met a girl, her name's Jalissa, and she lives here, and she just is like a ride or die. And then as I started my author career, I met Molly Goins, who is also an author, and I post about Molly all the time, and she became my sister. And I'm so glad, I'm so grateful and lucky to have met these people in my life. And I think that Arlette became all of them, like all of the best parts of them.
Cute.
And it's the best friend that everybody deserves and everybody wants in their life. And Vega, I think, I don't know, they all do have something of people in my life. But and I'm glad that it came across like that, because I wanted the character growth. I wanted everyone to feel so like I wanted it to feel like it was like meshed together really well, and that people could relate to them. And now if someone were to ask me, like, what do I want when people finish my book, I want them to feel like they know the characters and that they're their friends too, and that they're going on this rebellion with them. So I there's so many people that are inserted into these characters that even when I think about it, I'm like, I don't really know where that came from. But then all of a sudden I'm like, oh my God. Actually, I do know where that came from.
Ashley.
Yeah. Yeah. But I think Arlet for me was the one who really stood out amongst everybody when it comes to like who did I take from, because as the little emo girl and like didn't fit into the regular crowds, and I felt like I always had Katie, and then I had Jalissa later in life, and Molly now at this stage in my life. I've had so many very strong females in my life who you're there to rely on, you're there to cry on their shoulder when you need it. And so she stands out the most when it comes to who I picked from.
No, I could definitely say that. Arlette's probably one of my favorite characters, and I feel like you did like create a lot of growth for her, especially with her just starting off powerless. Yeah. But then towards the end of the book, you know, we find out a lot more of just her gaining her powers and everything like that.
All right, pull another question.
Okay, another question. Okay. Did you write any scenes where you had to stop and think, am I too mean to my characters right now?
No.
Which is all of them. No.
I did feel it when I feel like I black out when I write a little bit. And then I reread it and I'm like, who are you? So not in the moment when I'm writing it, I don't feel like I'm too mean. I feel like it needs to happen, and then I go back and I read it. So that video of me crying reading Marlena's draft was not me writing it, because I blacked out. I don't remember writing it, and then I went back and was like, who did this?
You're like, that's me. I did this.
I keep calling it Marlena's novella. I forgot that I like released the title Heart of the Villain. It fits so much better than Rise of the Villain.
I like the Heart of the Villain.
Yeah, Heart of the Villain. She doesn't rise, she falls. But yeah, but she does rise, right? Like she does, in her mind, rise to the occasion. But overall, she's not rising.
Yeah.
She's falling, and that's okay. That is her journey, and I'm proud of her.
Yeah, that's her story.
Yeah. Let her do her. All right, let's see. Was there anything particularly funny or unexpected that happened during the writing of your books?
Yeah, all the time. Okay, so as you write, so much gets edited out, and you don't know what's going to stay and what's not going to. And I think I took Revenge a little bit more seriously because I didn't know what I was doing, right? Like now that like I'm at Marlena's draft, a lot of my comments to my early readers are like, LOL. Like I'm like laughing at myself when I go back and read it, because I always read the chapter. Like if I stop halfway through a chapter, I go back and read it. Or like if I just have to like read the chapter before to like get back in the flow of things. But I think the funniest thing to me that stuck in Revenge was when Arlet is like info dumping all of this, like, we're in this hotel room and I'm telling you all about your life, and Vega's trying to comprehend it, and she's like, we went to Tolly Bear, or Tolly Bear, and Arlet's like, it's Tolly Bear, but like, okay. Well, I think that I never expected for Tolly Bear to stay in my draft, and I get so many people that are like, that's hilarious. Like, but it also helps them pronounce it, which I love, because they're like, they read it and they're saying it however, then you get to chapter 4 or 5 and they're like, oh, Tolly Bear, so it's Tola Bear. Like they then understand it. But I never expected that to stay. All of my alpha readers and my whole team during that book was like, LOL. And I realized when my editor went through and was like, this is hilarious, that I was going to keep it.
Yay! That makes me think of Wild and Ratchet.
Yeah. What was it? How does it? Wild React.
Yes.
Yeah, it was in this book we read. The land was Wild React was the name, but it was spelled Wild and Ratchet.
Yeah, like, that's how I pronounced it.
I love it.
And she said it in the podcast, and I was like, Wild and Ratchet. Where is that at?
I'm going.
It's through the portal.
That place was made for me.
Wild and Ratchet.
Okay.
Yeah, so Tolly Bear was the funniest thing for me, I think.
I love that.
I do too.
Yeah, because I feel like it was hilarious. But you were like, Tootly Bear. Tootly. I was just like, what are you saying?
I honestly don't know.
Everything else is based off of the Latin language. I didn't dive into it. Everybody's last name, if you look it up, has another meaning. Like Kylum means heaven. So they like come from Jupiter, which is the god of the sky. So everybody's last name and all the territories have Latin meanings. Tolliver was the only one that like I could not find a name for Tolliver in the Latin language. And I was like, you know what? I like had so many different names, and one day I was like, let's just like Google some like world names, and all of a sudden I was like, oh my god, wait, hold on, I got one in my brain. It was just waiting back there for me.
Yeah.
There's Tolliver.
Now that we're on the topic of Tolliver, I know that's one of our questions in there. Is it like based upon anywhere in particular?
No, I think that if you thought of all of the prettiest places in the world, that's how I picture Tolliver. I want Tolliver to be the place that like people can escape. And I know that it's a really crappy place to be right now, but that's not the idea of Tolliver. The idea of Tolliver is that we're going to save it and we're going to live and become the people that we want to be. So all of these places are so different. Like you have Ardor that is like, you know, the desert. So I think in my brain, it's very much like, you know, any beautiful desert scene and all of the like beautiful, if you've gone to Albuquerque, New Mexico and like places like that, that's really the only desert that I've been to. I lived in Vegas for a while. So like the homes that look like desert homes and things like, and then like Solem where R.I.P. Urban lives.
I know.
Your farmland, you know, that you kind of overlook, right? But like they say that Indiana and Illinois and all of Arkansas and all those places are like the heartland of the United States. So just picture the most beautiful theme of that place. Like Colorado very much is like Eris, where like you're in the tip top of the mountains and you just live in this beautiful area, but more like European. Right?
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
European vibes in the mountains. And then there's just Amora where it like snows all the time. And Marlena's really not happy about that in her book. She doesn't like the snow. She doesn't, it's not her vibe. So you'll get that. Which is really fun to me because she's really angry. She's getting this power that she's always wanted. And she's like, meh. It's
snowing, wet and cold.
Yeah, I'm cold. I don't like this.
That's so funny. She's got the stone cold heart right now, and she just can't even handle the cold.
I got the first. I won't release my cover probably until like the end of January, but I got the sample back. And they look so good together. There's going to be some changes like in what she sent me, but it's so good.
Oh, that's exciting. That's exciting.
I can't wait to put it on my shelf.
I know.
It's pretty. Like
we talked about how we really liked the cover of Revenge of the Forgotten, how it's like the mirrors. Because before reading it, you don't realize that it's, you know, anything significant at all. But like now after reading it, like we really loved the mirror aspect of it.
And so I will say with Marlena's novella, because it's a prequel, so it's the first one, it's a full mirror. There's no shatter. It is all intact. And then as the series progresses, the mirrors will shatter a little bit. They're gonna So there's a whole theme. I already have the whole series planned, like not planned out. I mean, I do. It's plotted in my brain. But all the names are there. We have book names for everything. We have all the things, and I'm so bad at keeping secrets.
Because I think you said you plan on having like 3 full books and 3 novellas as well.
Okay, so I did say 3 novellas. We'll see. I'm not going to like promise, because my original idea was that like there's going to be 3 full books, which is like Revenge, book 2, and then book 3. And then I always knew that Marlena was going to get her story. But I always also said that maybe I would do like Arlet and Quartz.
Yeah.
And you'll get like, it would still be prequel to the story, right? But I don't know. I'm not there yet. And maybe I'll give them like an intertwined story. Like maybe they'll get a novella together where their stories intertwine, but we'll see.
Oh my gosh. I need a court novella, and then we need to kick what's her face to the curb because she'd be spying on people, and then we need to insert Paula.
I want to be the Bond at 5.
Yeah, you'll be
Get
number
in
5.
there, girl.
So our next question was going to be what inspired like your song choice for the book, you know, that we serenaded you with, which starring Here Is the Cup that was played with this pencil.
It was so good. I remember I was flying back from my first signing and I was like, I'm going to download it and I'm going to listen to it on the flight. And I had to stop in the middle of the flight because I was like, this is too much. I have so many emotions right now. And I think I stopped it like after you guys started the song because I was like, oh no, I'm going to cry. I can't. The song, I don't know. I'm gonna be so honest with you. I think that I knew that there was gonna be like an early 2000 song that did something, and in my brain, it was gonna be like an emo song.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, I was like, I'll just put the Fray in there because everybody knows the Fray, and like everybody loves the Fray. And like if you think about your early 2000s, that song was so freaking popular that I think that the song just connected, and I think that I can feel Arlette being like that song would stick out to her with the lyrics and all of the things. And I also learned that you can't put lyrics in your writing, which is very unfortunate.
Yeah, that's why we had to sing the song ourselves because we couldn't put it in there without copywriting infringement.
And we're just like, well.
Yeah, I learned that before I sent it off to edits, and I was really sad. So I did have to cut the parts where they were like screaming the lyrics, but we can picture it, right?
Yeah,
we know.
right. Yeah.
And then that does come back later during Saturnalia, where Arlette sneaks the song back to, and like they have their moment before the end. But yeah, I don't know. I honestly can't answer like why. I think it just, the song fit so well.
I remember we had to stop and pause it so many times because we were laughing so hard.
Oh my gosh. That, when you were like, Dany, this is for you. I was like, I'm telling you, when I have a bad day, I go and listen to that podcast. It just makes my day.
Oh my gosh, I just remember we pressed play and we're like, we're nervous. And we're like, nobody's in here but us.
It was so good. It like the soundtrack to my life. If I die before, like when I die, please plays that. That's what I want. Please play that part of the podcast at my funeral, okay?
Just our version.
Yes, I don't want the real one. No.
We come to your funeral and just slide a cassette tape. I know. We just slide it in the coffin. We just,
this is hot tracks right here.
Our EP.
You know,
2.1 EP.
You know how the cha-cha slide starts off and like it has like the introduction, like that's how it should start off.
Let's get funky.
Yeah, when you guys did that song, I was like, this is it. I could, like, I don't even, like, if I never publish another book again, this is it for me. Like,
I'm just glad Brittany was here because we had another friend that was here while we recorded that episode. I'm just glad she was here to do the pencil in the cup because I don't think I could have like sung and done the pencil in the cup without laughing.
Dany, she was going so hard on this cup though. She was literally like, she had the cup and she was like, she was so intense.
Like, it makes me think of, like, playing the spoons. Like, she was, like, into it so hard.
She was born for that.
Brittany, thanks, Brittany.
Shout out to Brittany for playing the cup.
Oh, my God. I thought it was one of your husbands, but the fact that it was one of your
Nope. Yeah, we were just hanging out, vibing, and we're like, hey, we need you to play a cup for us. And she was like, what? Okay.
What a good friend. Shout out to me.
I mean, honestly, I feel like our friends just have to embrace the things that we ask them to do at this point.
We are very chaotic in our podcast and in real life. It doesn't change.
I love it.
All right, let me see. Will Dragon Daddy find his dragon mama?
Oh, no.
All of the side characters will have the ending that they deserve.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, Oh, that's a
I was
queen answer.
prepared for this
I'm
one.
stressed.
Oh man, yeah, all the side characters, and I would love to be able to say like, oh, I'll give everybody a spin-off series, but like that just doesn't. It's just not feasible, and it's not like
Yeah.
something that can happen.
Yeah.
But everybody will have an ending that makes sense for them.
This is the one you wanted to ask her.
Oh.
This is your hubby question.
Oh,
So, how do you write your spicy scenes? Does your hubby benefit from it?
I'm here for that question. Yeah, probably. But also, just like imaginations go wild, you know? Things that you feel like you can't verbalize to your partner, are scenes that you can throw into a document. And then
I feel that in my heart and soul.
yeah, you have to like figure out like if you were to try to reenact them, how they would work. And there's so we know that Marlena's novella is sapphic, and I have not been with a woman since before my time with Josh, obviously, and we've been together for 10 years. So I felt really like writing her sapphic romance. I felt really like out of place, and I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know what I'm doing anymore. And I have a video. I had to like place a video and be like, all right, we're trying to position something somewhere. Does this work? So there's a video that I will never share with the light of day. Like getting down on my knees in front of the bed to make sure that the scene works.
Oh man.
Because see, that's how I am. Like when I read spicy scenes, like I'm like, okay, so like, what do you mean their leg was this way, but like they're on the other side? I need to understand.
Yeah, because I would say that Marlena's novella is spicier than Revenge. Yeah, because you're getting more of the personal story of who she was with somebody else, right? And Revenge was meant to be a tease because I make it up to you in book 2. Yeah. So like the prologue being what it is just makes sense because it's like a little warm up for the full stuff that is to come.
We got some questions about that prologue.
Yeah. Well, oh, that's gonna be that's gonna be an exit.
Yeah, that is an
Yes,
exit.
that can be exit.
But yeah, I feel like he benefits. I feel like he would say that he benefits. He probably wouldn't say it out loud. It's so funny because when people meet us, or when you meet me alone, people are like, oh, you're definitely the outgoing one of the relationship. And then you meet Josh and you're like, oh, wait, hold on. You're actually the reserved one. Because he's like the crazy loud, and I'm the one that's like, I would like to not talk to someone for 48 hours. That would be wonderful for me. So it's funny because everyone's like, oh, you're definitely the outgoing one. And I'm like, wait, just wait. Just wait till you man. Because he'll talk to a wall, and I'd rather talk to no one.
That's awesome.
I'm just like, what's happening in book 2?
If you could have any magical power from the book, which would you choose and why?
Listen, we all want lightning, right? Like we would all want to be like Vega, badass throwing lightning around. How cool would it be to be Arlet and be able to manipulate what people see?
Yep.
Like, you're not seeing what you think you see. Psych. Arlet's power is the coolest power to me. We all want to be strong. We all want to be like Bridger. We all want to like shift into a dragon and fly away into the night sky. We all want to be Marlena, who has them all. But Marlena can't make you see what Arlet can. The things that Arlet can do, and she wasn't supposed to do them, is like I just so much.
I think we loved her power too.
Yeah.
But her power can be so devastating. Like, you know, when you were writing about the double dragons, I was like, he found his sister. I'm like, God, it's Arlet. What do you mean? It's Arlet. I was just so upset. But I was like, that's so cool. And I'm so glad you gave it to a woman and not a man. Because, you know, I'd be
I wanted this series to be so, like, obviously, like, Bridger and Court, they're like such strong dudes, right? Like we all want that when we're like thinking about a man and a lover, and like that's what you want,
Man.
right? But I wanted my girls to be so strong, and I wanted them to, like, we can rise from the ashes and we can be different people and we can do all of these crazy things. So with her, like, the dragon comes back into play, but you also have to remember that they're bonded. So there's so many things that, like, what is happening in that circle of power where they're sharing things. And yeah.
Ooh, I didn't think about that. I didn't think about them sharing powers.
Yeah. So if Bridger and Vega get it on, or Court and Arlet, like,
It's like Taryn, like he can like see, like it's like Fourth Wing where they're like, oh, we gotta block that out.
yeah, are their wrists like tingling a certain way, and they're just like, God, just get it away from me.
Stop. Poor Court. If that were the case, God.
Could you just wake up and be like, oh man, I'm feeling a little wet down under? Like, that must have been getting it on.
Oh man, Arlet is, that's my girl.
Oh, that power is so cool.
That is really cool.
It's so
And
powerful.
I feel like, I mean, she can do anything. She can,
Yeah.
you see, if you think that Marlena can do anything, like, yeah, she can. She has all the powers. But Arlet kind of can still do the same thing. Like, in a way, Arlet is, I don't know, she just is so magnificent and does so many cool things. And is just the person that you would want on your side if this was all going down.
I love Arlet, and I love how she's like a mixture of all your friends. So it's like she's bringing out the best in people. She's, not deceiving people, but kind of deceiving. Like, she's just such a cool, dynamic character. She's so many things, but it's kind of cool because your friends are so many different things. So she really is just a big ball of friendship, harmony.
They always say that you shouldn't have a character who is perfect, right? Everybody has their own flaws, and Arlet doesn't, she does have some flaws towards the end, like she doesn't want Vega to do all of these things that she's thinking, because she's devoted her whole life to coming back and saving her. And I can understand that, right? I think we can all understand, like, no, dude, you don't need to go doing all these crazy things, just chill out. So towards the end, she did get more flawed, but I didn't want her to be the flawed character. She's gone through too much already. So she has things to learn, as do we all. But I wanted her to kind of be like solid and sound in the decisions that she was making. And I feel like I was able to do that for her. But book 2, there's a lot of growing for everybody. And I'm just so excited. Can't wait for you guys to see it.
You're just going to get pictures of me crying. I'm just going to be like, we're going to have to do one of those live reads, like the reading sprints. We're going to have to do one of those. And I'm just like, Dany!
Yeah.
Like on the originals when Klaus is like yelling Rebecca.
Yeah.
Like that's how it's going to be.
That's how I felt finishing Iron Flame, though. So I get it. Like,
that is true, yes.
Yeah.
Which I'm so excited for Onyx Storm.
Oh my. I have listened, that one, I would say that, like, right now in my life, that's probably my favorite series that's going on. But I also had a reader that was like, yeah, you're like the grown-up Fourth Wing. And I was like,
excuse me?
I was like, you shut your mouth.
I mean, but for real though.
That
means accurate though.
But that is such a compliment.
I was like, because I had a mental breakdown after reading Fourth Wing to my original alpha reader, and was like, I'll never be Rebecca Yarrow. And like, we all do it. Every author is like, we compare ourselves to whatever big book is out, and it's so normal, and I know that now. But I was like, I just am never gonna be all of these people. And she's like, shut up. You're not meant to be all of these people. You're meant to be your own person. And so then when people come out and compare me to some of the authors that I've looked up to, or not even just always looked up to, or just have stories that speak to me, and I'm like, oh my God, like, shut up.
Don't shut up.
Yeah, keep telling me that.
Keep going.
Hold on. Let me, but no. Okay.
It's like, let me record you. Hold on.
Like, I'm trying to be humble, but like, just keep going.
Yeah. That's it.
Oh, But I mean, your book was really good. Like, I mean, good.
Thank you.
I would feel like comparable to Forge
No,
Wing in a
for
lot
sure.
of different way. I mean, obviously
sure.
fantasy, but
Shut up.
but the way that you wrote like a mature author. Like I would have we talked about this. I was like, that's not her debut book. That's not. Just because it's just the way it was written, the vocabulary, the way it flowed, I was like, God, dog, this is a beautiful novel.
Yeah.
What do you mean? Like this is her debut book.
You
So
definitely think that you're like a very seasoned author, the way that like your first book came out.
Have been writing all of my life. Like I can genuinely say when I was 11 or 12 years old, I was writing. So while it's my first book, it's not my first story. And I think that's
Dang, that like slaps. Like that was such a good line. I'm sorry to interrupt. That's such a good line.
Thank you.
spitting bars.
I have written most of my life, and it was, I was on stupid websites where we were role playing and taking pictures of actors and pretending that, like those were our characters. So I didn't wake up one morning and go, I'm going to write a book. I've never done this before. I did have the character development aspect of my life, and I've written most of my life. And a lot of people are like, well, why didn't you write first person? And I've never written first person. So this story felt very third to me. There's a lot of obviously like that was what I was most comfortable in, but also there's so many secrets and there's so many things that you need to see from the outside that I can't tell you being inside of Vega or Bridger's head. And I wanted to give you as much as I could from their brains, which is why you get a lot of their like internal dialogue. But this story, the whole first half would have been Vega being like, I don't know what's going on. I'm just following this girl into a party. Like it would have been so boring if you didn't if you didn't get it from an outside narrator's point of view. But I appreciate when people say that. But I also have to remind people that like this wasn't just I didn't wake up in one morning and go, I'm gonna write a book. I've been writing most of my life, and it was just time for me. I'm so glad that I didn't do this in my early 20s. I'm glad that I am the age that I am now. Not that we're old, right? I'm almost 30. Like we're in our 30s. Like
we're young, but it hurts. It's fine.
It hurts. My feet hurt in the morning when I get out of bed, and like my elbows probably pop a little bit. But I'm glad that I'm in the headspace that I am now, because if I would have done this in my early 20s, I wouldn't have made it. I wouldn't have done things.
Well, this book slaps, so I'm glad you waited, because I think about it every day. Every day. We talk about it pretty much every day. The amount of screenshots we send on, okay, Dany's thinking about doing this for her next book. Dany came out with this today. Dany said this in her life. Look, I screenshotted her journal. Like,
oh my goodness.
It's just so good. It was such a good book, and I'm so excited to see what comes next for Marlena and all the other characters, and Cord and his pants.
Or no pants.
Or however he feels.
We'll see what pants he's wearing in book 2.
Yeah.
I'm not sure yet. Pants. I'm under 10,000 words written into the second book, and I feel like it'll flow once I get into it because there's so much going on in my brain about it. But I've kind of teased this a little bit. There's a third point of view in book 2, and it makes sense for what's to come, but I had to do Marlena's novella in order to dive in to book 2.
Tie it together.
Oh, bless it.
Yeah.
This is our prologue questions.
Okay, let's do it.
So why was this dream different? That's our main question.
Let's start there. Okay.
I know we're dropping big things.
If you can't tell us, that's fine.
Yeah, if you can't tell us,
so why did Bridger?
Answers, that's fine.
Your question is like, why did Bridger have a dream that wasn't real?
Yes. Why wasn't it a memory?
Arlet has, and this is this is just world building, and you'll learn about it a little bit in book 2. Arlet, when she realizes where Vega is at in a current life, she just has dreams. It's not a memory, it's not anything, it's just, this is going to be a dream, and it's going to give you hints as to where Vega is. Well, when we find out what is going on in the prologue and why Arlet can't, if she's having dreams, she can't.
Because
See?
Bridger, yeah.
See? I told you this earlier.
So it's the bond. coming into play and masking that, because it's like where she's currently at, she can't go get her.
Oh, I just can't. I can't. I'm stressed. I'm stressed.
So somebody has to have the dream.
And Bridger, he's gonna go get his girl.
Go get his boo. But also, she's got fear in her eyes.
Yeah. Well, she's in a dungeon. I
That
probably
is
had
true.
some
I
fear
figured some fear in my eyes too. Especially how they were talking about she got beat up.
Yeah, I'd be sitting there like, well, I'm kind of scared. Yeah, I'm
Like,
hungry too.
Can you just let me out?
Can you trust him?
Yeah. Do you know?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm stressed. Okay. We noticed that he called her pretty girl in the dream versus kitten. And is that significant in any sort of way?
I don't think so. I think that Bridger just has a dirty mouth.
Ooh, stop it.
All right.
All right,
I'm here for it.
Ooh, nasty Bridget. Stop
I
Stop
think
it.
that he is just at one point in his life was so in love, and you'll see pieces of that in Marlena's novella. He was so in love with her, and they were just like such a good match together that you wouldn't have expected him to choose any other way. They were meant to be together, and things changed, and people changed, and he loved her so much, and I think that's really important for people to know.
I love him too. It's fine. It's fine.
Let's see. Will we find out how Arlette ended up in the dungeon, or are we just in for a shell shock? Because that was like, I remember reading it and I was like, what do you mean she's in the dungeon all beat up?
Because like in the first book, you went from them in a circle like la something and remix to like boom, she's in an apartment.
Yeah.
So are we just gonna get la in the dungeon? Boom, something
No,
else.
that
Seven
was
Wonder of the World.
us. We skipped the end of when at the end of Revenge where she kills herself. That's just what it is, right? Like
Yeah.
she kills herself. Spoiler alert! Not even spoiler. Like a trigger warning. She
Just-
kills herself, and we jump forward to later in the day. So that has happened. There's not a lot of significant things that go on, but we know that Arlette is under Meyer's feet.
Mm-hmm.
So we know that at that point that she's been captured, and
Right.
she is the new prisoner.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well, we know why he went looking for Arlette
Yeah.
because they connected. So we
Yeah.
don't need that. So does Dragon Daddy escape? Does Dragon Daddy just like, bleh, here's a body, I'm flying off into the sunset. Peace out, Brussels sprouts.
Somebody has to keep the rebellion alive.
Oh yeah, he does. Daddy's gone.
Oh no. Go, Daddy.
I will say, I was sitting here, what does all this mean? What does this mean, Paula? What does this mean? When we were reading, because she said, hey, what are you doing? And I was like, I'm making a gingerbread house. She said, stop what you're doing and read this right now.
You're like, there's things we gotta talk about.
It's like 11 p.m. I'm like, do it now.
I know, I'm at like
5
work.
pages.
I'm like, I'll just send it to him now because I'm gonna forget tomorrow, and who knows what they're doing. So
Might as well wreck their time.
and I always lose. We had so like on Saturday nights, like everybody works doubles, and I always lose the drawing, so I just always end up closing. And we
Aw.
slowed down a lot at night, so I'm like, okay, I can either read or I can like, let me just pull this out of the document. I was like, I'm gonna send it to them right now.
Yay!
And I realized that I probably should have done Marlena's novella, but that chapter has technically been like edited as far as spelling and grammar has gone because it was supposed to be part of book one. And I didn't realize that I was going to make it the prologue until I got to where I was at, like currently writing. And it just fit. It just was meant to like that's the like it has to be that. My editor also doesn't love prologues unless they actually mean things. So I'm like, yum.
Yeah.
Like, tell me the things. Tell me the things.
Yeah.
Look, I feel like this was a great Saturnalia gift.
Yeah.
This was-
I think even if it ends up being like this was a deleted scene, I think that it still happens.
Yeah.
Like that still technically happens, but
And it just gives you more to think about from the reader's perspective. You're like, okay, hold on. What's happening? What's happening in book 2? It just gets you re-excited about all the
Yeah.
things that you're just so confused about already. You know?
the next chapter is it's gonna make people mad, I think.
Well, I guess we'll have to
I'm
see.
ready. I guess I'm ready. We should just do the 24-hour readathon.
We should, and just sit there. It'll just be me crying, you sitting there just because you can't cry.
I'll get some Visine drops.
When you need to cry, you'll just drop them in there.
My goodness.
I love Bridger.
I loved that you guys were very much like, I don't know, Vega's kind of mean to Bridger. And I was like, she is kind of mean to Bridger. She is.
She
that's
is.
intentional. I mean, he's been through some crap, but I did want him to see more of the villain. Like, that is his purpose, was at first to be a little dark and mysterious.
Yeah, it was just, man, their relationship's so crazy. I was like, okay, I get it, he messed up. I get it, she's messing up. Like, everybody's messing up here, but where's the grace?
Yeah.
Because ain't nobody got it.
Oh.
Bridget's trying to choke slam her in the forest, and then she's just kissing him and throwing herself off the mountain. Like, there's just so
and then
much going
stabbing
on.
him.
Yeah, like,
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, there's violence that are warranted, but there's also other things you can hit, like a rock. You know, there's other things you can
She was like, dagger to the chest.
Yep. She's like, I'm gonna see.
She's like, I'm a scientist today.
Yeah, we were testing
Give
things
me your
out.
mouth.
We were testing the waters. Yeah, I can't promise that they'll figure it out, but some things will happen.
They'll do something.
Something. They've gotta figure something out. They've gotta come to terms with how to interact eventually.
Yeah.
Yeah, under the sheets. Yeah.
Hey,
Fingers crossed for me.
I'm telling you, Court and Arlette gonna be waking up wet below.
They're gonna be like, take this off of me! Marlena, break this!
Oh my gosh, that's the mystery of Court's pants. His shifting pants got damaged.
They're wickering. They're quick dry.
Starch.
Oh man. Oh, Court. I love him. I do.
Oh,
He's such a sweet little
Man,
protective man.
when you came out with your art for him, like, I knew he was fine, but I didn't know he was gonna be fine like that.
No, he's
Yes.
handsome.
I mean, I would have hopped on him too in my bedroom. I don't have no regrets.
It
No regrets.
Yeah, no, not a single letter on this man. But he's so nice. Like, what man is gonna be like, listen, you're not gonna be like, once you get your memories back, you're not gonna be happy that you did this. So, like, I'm gonna stop you.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, he was a good friend to her.
Yeah.
You know, even though he did want that, you know, he did want to get down to business with her.
That's
But
his dream for his whole life.
Yes, yeah, like he almost had that.
Mhm.
But he chose to be the good guy and took the high road.
Sometimes I want the bad guy though. I was just like, get her naked. And I was like, oh dang.
There's another bad guy. He's not the bad guy. He's not
I
the
know.
morally gray man. He is.
He's a good man.
Court knew his role and he knew what needed to happen, and it's very clear to him. Whereas obviously Bridger is lost in the sauce. Like,
Yeah, Bridger's lost. Court knows what's up.
Court always had a path. Not that Bridger didn't, but they're just very different, right? They're so different, and their relationship is fun together too. Like Court and Bridger, to experience them in all of the stages of this story, because they are.
I can imagine so much animosity between them. Just God, how do you just both just being friends and liking the same girl? That's just so jacked up.
I could see them super spooning though on a cold night.
Super spooning.
It's so funny because Bridger is so cocky, and like he's always been so cocky, and you guys get to see that eventually, that he's always just been like, he's just so cocky, and he just doesn't let Court push him around, and as he shouldn't.
He's a dragon, but he gets pushed around by Bridger.
Does. Oh man, you asked me a question earlier where you're like, what's your favorite banter? And now that I'm thinking about it, I don't know. When Bridger calls him a lizard, that is
That one was good.
so good. And he just continues to call him random reptiles.
Yeah.
It's just like, someone come grab your chameleon. Like,
Get this Axolotl axolotl out of here.
Who found the newt? Like, now he's going to freaking amphibians. He can't figure out who this man is, but
I just love Revenge of the Forgotten.
Oh,
It's like I'm sad it's over for that book because I just would love to reread it again for the first time. But I'm so excited for book 2. I'm so excited for Marlena's story.
you have so many things coming. There are so many. So much. You're gonna find out so many things, and I can't wait.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm excited.
I may have to put another pillow over my head like I did in the last. But I just yeah. Except for now that we have video, everybody can see my pillow head. I was literally like, I was about to break on the floor. I was like, "Don't talk to me anymore. Please don't. Please."
Yeah, sorry, my theories kind of took you out.
I know. She's gonna wake up next to
Your
Chase without
theories.
sushi.
Oh man, your theories.
What's so funny though is that I'm not typically that person. It's usually her.
Ooh.
And like, cause she can usually guess the ending of a book literally within 10 pages. And I'm just like reading like, la, la, la. I'm just here for a good time, not a long time. Like, I love it here.
I've been trying so hard though with the books that I've been reading recently because everybody just gets rain. Like I just rain on everybody's parade. I'm like, this is gonna happen. This is what I think is gonna happen. This is gonna happen. And then it happens, and I'm like, good book. So, so I've been trying so hard to just be in the moment lately and just be a vibe. But this book, there were so many things I wasn't ready for, and I'm still recovering. There's trauma.
I'm so glad that it came across as such a whirlwind because it feels like such a whirlwind. And I feel like when I read through it, I'm like, that just is so obvious that it's going to happen. And then readers are like, oh, left field. Where did you come with that? And I'm like, great. Thank you so much. But things do come back around in book 2. So you might need it. I do recommend maybe not for my own benefit, but like another read through before book 2 would probably be beneficial. Because that's a ride. When we're on this cruise, I get to kind of like, I'm going to do a read through this week and like maybe like write this last chapter that I need to like fit back in. And I'm going to take a break from it. And I think like when I get up in the morning on the cruise, I'm going to like take an hour and I'm going to sit out on the balcony and get to write in it, start to flesh book 2 out. And it's so loud in my head right now, but I needed Marlena to have her time. I was trying to write them simultaneously and it couldn't happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, that seems hard for sure.
Marlena was just really loud, and I had to learn her to figure out what was happening in book 2, and we're there.
Yeah. I love getting the villain's perspective, though, on a lot of things. Like, I love all the rewrites of a lot of the Disney villains and stuff like that. Just where the villains could go, who they were as people, because before they were that person, they were somebody else that led to this. So what is their story? So I'm really, really excited about her story.
I feel like her villain origin story, revenge and like everything that nothing would have, if it weren't for her, like none of this would have happened. So the story is so pivotal to move forward and just to learn, because there's the nature and nurture, right? Was she born this way or was she nurtured into this person? And Marlena was definitely nurtured into who she is. If her life would have gone a different way, then I think that the whole story would have been very different, but it wasn't.
Yeah, that's true.
Then we wouldn't have the book that we have, the glorious book that we have.
Yeah. Exactly. And it's not always pretty. Court, who said it? It was going into Court's story of the night of Marlena's like takeover, when he was like, it's not a pretty story, or it's not a happy ending, and Vega was like, some of the best stories aren't happy endings, and that's
the story.
Like, it's not always going to be happy, but like that's the way that it was supposed to be. And her last chapter,
that's good.
It's so beautiful.
Her story is crazy, and it's really emotional, and I'm super excited for everyone to have it, because I have a couple readers that are like, I literally like could care less about her, and I'm like, that's fine, or they couldn't care less about her, but you should, and that's fine. If you don't want to read this novella, you can surely dive into book 2 without it. It's just going to hit harder. That 3rd or 4th chapter is going to be such more emotional impact to get it.
Dang, so early in the book too? Lord Jesus.
You said 3 or 4. I'm like, oh God.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Because we know that originally the first and second chapter are supposed to be at the end of Revenge, but we moved it. So those 2 chapters come up, and then Marlena's novella, I told you guys it's like by ages, but the end of every chapter, I end with internal thought with her because I want readers to see how what happened in each chapter affected her. And
It's
so
like her diary.
it kind of is like this is, so I can say that the first chapter starts when she's 9.
Itty bitty Marlena.
So we're seeing a baby. You are seeing just this tiny little kid who's just been mistreated. And then by the time you get to, because this is like when I go back through the rest of the series, because like this is the first copy ever.
And, how cool.
Yeah, like there's all my annotations and like like things that I need to go back and like quotes and things like that about Heart of the Villain is going to start the foundation of the rest of the series. So I'm going to have a timeline of like, okay, well, if I say this, does it line up with the time? So I've had to go back and check in this book to make sure that like I'm saying things correctly because it's happening before this story. And that's been hard. There's a couple things where I'm like, damn, like I shouldn't have said it that way in that book.
Oh no. Shot yourself in the foot.
I did. There's one thing where I was like, it was like Marlena says, I've been like planting this because she, they all summon gods, and she's like, I've been planting this in your mind for months, and I'm like, damn it, this first draft says it's been years. So I gotta go back and fix that. Like,
that would be so stressful for me because I wouldn't be able to keep up with everything. I'd be like, I don't even know who anybody is anymore. Who said that? When they do that?
Yeah.
Who's the dragon?
The beginning, it was the dragon. Well, you get more dragons in Marlena's novella. There's more alive dragons in this one.
Wait, hold on. Is it? Do they die?
It's the prequel. It's the prequel.
So they're gonna die.
Yeah.
Oh. I'm so sorry. Actually, you see one of them die in Revenge. So.
But I don't want any more. Those poor dragons.
The poor babies. He'll repopulate maybe one day, I would hope.
We'll see. If it ain't with me, it ain't with anybody else.
No, we're cut off.
I knew the character in the book. You know what? Just write Tabitha into the book. I'll take the Tabitha.
Tabitha, what's the date today? It feels very Mean Girls to me. He asked me what the date was. October 3rd.
I know. Just make a character be like Tabola.
Not Tabola. That's like a virus.
Ebola.
Like Ebola, but Tabola.
Or Pa Betha.
Tabaroo.
Yeah, there we go.
Toolaloo bear. Tabaloo. Tablever.
Tablever.
Yeah, perfect. You're the heart of Tolva Bear.
There's so many things that I can't wait to do. We're gonna have to. I'm scheduling this out for after the second book's release because we're gonna have to do another deep dive because you guys are gonna be like, you're gonna yell at me after, and then you're gonna yell at me more going into book 3.
Oh god,
I'm ready for it though. I'm ready to be like, Dany, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Dany, let me read your mind.
Book 2 is it's gonna be so special. It's gonna be, like I said earlier, I've laid the foundation, and now it's time to roll into the rest of it, and we get to see a lot of Bridger.
Yes.
Yeah.
Danny's coming in like a wrecking ball. Just
Dany came in like a wrecking ball. Maybe that'll be the title. Maybe it'll be the song. It'll be the next song.
We'll post a TikTok where I'm just outside on the swing or something.
Love it. I love it. Where's Brittany with her
yeah. Brittany and then we'll make Brittany say, "This one's for you, Dany."
Where's Brittany? Why is she part of this friendship? Is she not a book reader? She is today.
Yeah. Oh man, well I don't want to keep you any longer. I feel like I could keep you all night forever.
I guess we can just like wrap it up with, so if you had to tell your readers and our listeners anything else, what would you have to say?
Godspeed.
Sucks.
Good luck.
What's up, little duck?
I put on your helmet and grab a bottle of wine and dive in. Let's do this together because man, it hurts me too. I know you don't think so, but I cry.
I see you.
Welcome to the rebellion.
Welcome to the rebellion.